If you don't have a brand, then you don't have a business. That's pretty much what Forbes magazine said a few months ago, and I don't disagree with that. I've been doing a keynote recently about telling your brand story, and I've had some really great feedback from people who hadn't really considered their own business as a brand. Now, these businesses are they're solo businesses, solo business owners, just starting out in some cases. And of course, the question is, well, why should I be doing that? I'm such a small business. I'm not one of those large global corporates that has lots of money to spend on marketing and branding. And I guess that's true. But for all of us, we need to ensure that our future customers and clients identify with us over somebody else. And that is about making ourselves as different as possible. And one of those differences is ensuring that you connect on an emotional level with the people that you want to come to you and spend money with you rather than somebody else. And that's all about connecting with them person to person. So we all have stories, we all have different approaches, and we're all different. And it's really key for that to come out when you're working on your business. So one of the first things I would say is, it's very easy to say, I'm going to go into accounting, or I've developed this new product. But maybe step back a little bit and think about what is it that is the basis of this decision. And that is essentially what will build your brand story. So sometimes when I'm with clients, I talk to them about their childhood, for instance. So I get them to go all the way back and think about what it is that happened within their family, at school, maybe in the first years of their career, that moulded them. It could be positive, it could be negative, but whatever it is, you'll find that that has led you to behave and take certain decisions throughout your life. And ultimately, it's probably led you to where you are now and what could potentially be your defining vision. You'll have values, you'll have beliefs as a person, but it's really important to incorporate those into your business itself and everything that you do with your business, whether it's website or whatever. So my suggestion is to think about that. What are the learnings? What has happened to you that you've taken out and used throughout your life? And what is it that has started you on the road of having your own business? Was it something cataclysmic that you just decided that was it, you'd had enough and you wanted to start up? Was it something that happened that was really positive and gave you a great idea? Usually your story has a beginning, a middle and an end, and that middle is a certain realization that you wanted to do something else or that you wanted to do something for yourself. And then it's important to understand why that is and what is it about your life and the way that you approach things and your values that means that it has moved you on to this next business adventure. So there's always some kind of catalyst that means that you jump off what you have been doing and move into something new. And then, of course, the fundamental after that is to talk about this new business. And once you have your brand story and you know about your values and who you really connect with on a personal level, then you'll be able to talk more compellingly about who you want to target, who you want to really work with in the future, and what it is that your vision is for your business. What do you want to change? How are you going to change the world? Or how are you going to change your customer or your clients' lives? What is it that you want to achieve? Now, if you have that clear, then it makes a really compelling story and a brand story that you can use, whether it's on your website, social media, whatever it is. But it will spur you on. But more importantly, stories are about connecting with people. We tell stories all the time, and it creates an emotional reaction, and that comes from something that happens in our brains, whether it's fear or whether it's that warm feeling if you're watching, like a romantic story and a wonderful ending. Whatever it is, it generates a reaction. Now, we want, as much as possible, our brand story to create an emotional connection with our perfect client. So we want to talk about our experiences. We want to talk on a personal level about why we're doing what we're doing and how that fundamentally has built the business that we're in and what our approach is. You'll see many larger businesses using this technique. John Lewis, for example, in the latest Christmas advert in 2018, where they tell the story of Elton John. Well, that's obviously an individual story that's not about John Lewis, but what they tried to do was create a story about a child and the magic of Christmas, but also the beginning, the middle, and kind of the conclusion of Elton John's life. So he's obviously been bought a piano, played throughout his life, and got bigger and bigger until he had massive success. Now, that's obviously nothing to do with John Lewis, but what they've tried to do is create a story and create a connection and a feeling, so that every time you think about John Lewis, you get that warm sense of them as a business. And for us smaller businesses, it's just as important to use this technique and to use a brand story. Even if we haven't got a massive budget to spend, it's really important because there are nearly 6 million small businesses in the UK now, and thousands are adding to that number every year. And the only reason we can stand out and make a difference is talk in that emotional way and develop our brand story, because no story is the same. So we are unique as people and potentially unique as businesses. So think about that seriously before you start to invest in other things. Make sure that before you do your marketing and before you spend on networking or whatever it is that you spend your marketing money on, make sure that your brand story is nailed and that you know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. Now, I'm going to be at the Business Showcase Southwest on the 19th of June, stand D28 in the Dolman Hall. And if you want to hear about how to go about developing further your brand story, then please come and find me or message me before the event. Thanks.